हजुर सर
ठिक छ I will take class के भनेदेखि अब स्क्रिन सेयर गर्नु है त भयो स्क्रिन सेयर भयो ओके
भयो सर
ल in last lecture then I discussed about the silicons now in this lecture then capacity of silicon, application of silicon, then polyphosphazine and sulfur based polymer. Then next topic is paint. In this case, introduction, requirement of good paint and type of paint. Now first, what is the application of the characteristic of silicons? The physical properties and chemical properties of silicon depends upon kind and number of organic group attached to silicon, and chemical properties are controlled by the silicon oxide silicon bond. And silicon can be obtained in three form: aisle form, viscous liquid, resin, or rubber-like solid. And first, silicons are water repellent, means that are not soluble in water. Why? In silicon, the atoms of silicons are surrounded by organic parts. These organic parts make silicon insolubility in water. The content of organic group make silicon highly water repellent. This property is increased by aromatic part. If the R value is aromatic, then the water repellent property is again more. The R value are surrounding the silicon atom in silicon. So these R value or organic parts are responsible making the silicon insoluble in water. Now next is the resistance to oxidation, and same is caused by organic part. Silicons are resistant to oxidation due to organic part, and aromatic parts when present that will enhance the properties. The stability toward oxidation increases by presence of aromatic part. Aromatic if present, then more resistance to oxidation, and resistance to oxidation is caused by presence of aromatic part which are surrounding the silicon atoms in silicon. Now next is silicons not toxic, and they are thermally stable to a heat. Due to why? Due to silica-like arrangement, means silicon oxygen silicon linkage and high bond energy of silicon oxygen bond. And due to this arrangement, the silicon as a whole is stable to our heat. This is known as the silica-like arrangement, like sand. When you heat sand, no change at all. In same way, this linkage behave as silica-like arrangement. Due to this linkage in silicon, the silicons are thermally stable. Resistance to chemical. They are resistant to most of mild acid and alkali don't react with silicon. However, other chemicals react with silicon due to polar nature of silicon oxygen bond and ability of silicon to expand its valency due to presence of vacant orbital. Number two reason is highly polar silicon oxygen bond, and silicon has capacity to expand its valency. Silicon valency 2, 4 in this way, and due to vacant orbital. Now next is they don't melt at high temperature and don't freeze at high temperature. And silicon ions are highly stable and non-volatile even on heating. It is due to the above properties. The boiling point and viscosity of silicons are highly affected by chain length. The boiling point and viscosity depends upon the how longer the chain present in the silicon. Since they can withstand high temperature without shearing, and at high temperature they don't become black as ordinary material. They are used for making insulating material for electric motor and other electrical items. And at high temperature, don't become black. Charring means become black at high temperature. And on the basis of this property, the silicons are used in various type of material. Like first, the application of silicon. Silicons oil are used for high temperature oil bath and vacuum pump. What is known as oil bath? For example, the organic compounds are highly volatile. They are not heated directly, and they are to be heated in a container in which then ions are used. For example, if you want to heat the organic compound like acetone, alcohol, then it should be heated indirectly, then pressing on water bath or oil bath. Then when you heat, then oil will not boil easily. In this way, oils are not volatile, the silicon oil, because they are stable. Why they are used for high temperature oil bath? Oil bath भनेको त नुहाउने होइन, बाथ होइन, जब इन्डाइरेक्ट हिटिङ गर्ने काम. जस्तै कि अर्गानिक कम्पाउन्डको बोइलिङ पोइन्ट निकाल्दाखेरि कसरी निकाल्ने? इन्डाइरेक्टली. प्याराफिन आयल बार्नको भने प्याराफिन आयलमा हिट गरेर निकाल्ने. डाइरेक्ट भयो भनेदेखि चोन्ती उठ्छ, थाहा हुन्न. दे आर युज एज लो टेम्परेचर lubricant. Why? Since they don't viscous on cooling, on cooling they don't viscous. They are also used to make Vaseline like grease. Grease are used as lubrication and which are used as lubricant in aeroplane, since they don't freeze at minus 40 degrees Celsius and don't melt at 200 Celsius. The aeroplane flies at cold weather and hot weather. And when we use normal grease, and the grease will freeze or melt. If melted and freeze, then that materials will not work as lubricant. So it should be like the same thing as like grease, and don't freeze at the low temperature and don't melt at high temperature, because the silicon's oil can be used to make Vaseline like grease, and silicon resin, being highly water repellent, are used for making waterproof clothes and paper. Why? But repellent to water, they are used for making waterproof clothes and paper. And silicon fluid are mixed with paint enamel to resist to the effect of temperature, sunlight, chemical, and damp. And when they are mixed in paint enamel, the paint lasts for a long time because they can withstand high temperature and the sunlight and some mild type of chemical and the moisture. And they are used for making non-stick pan. Since they are thermally stable, then the pan coated with the silicons are very expensive and compared to pan coated with the Teflon. And because they are highly stable in comparison to Teflon, so the non-stick pans are used for heating. In this pan, we can put different type of food or frying, especially for frying purpose. And silicon solid rubbers are used in transplant surgery for making artificial valve, artificial breast. If the lady suffer from breast cancer, the one breast or two breasts can be cut, and in place of that, then the silicon breast should be applied for that, and that makes the person attractive about that. And there are the artificial heart valve from silicon and the silicon pipe, and they are the frying pan or cooking utensil. And in this case, coating is made. Coating, you can find the coating of silicon, and this coating can withstand high temperature. Then these are to be used for the frying purposes. And when you fry in these, the materials, then the food will not become black in this way. And next is the phosphorus-based polymer. Phosphorus-based polymer, the polymers containing phosphorus. Nitrogen and phosphorus have small little tendency to undergo catenation. Catenation means self-linking property of atoms. For example, carbon combined with next carbon, carbon combined with next carbon. In this way, the self-linking property of atoms are known as catenation. But phosphorus and nitrogen have this property, but less than that of carbon atoms. However, nitrogen and phosphorus undergo catenation, resulting in the formation of the polymeric compound known as polyphosphazine. The general formula of polymer is represented by this one. This is the general formula: R, P, double bond N, and this number is a variable. In this case, the value R is a variable. If the R value is Cl, then the polyphosphazine name is polyphosphonitrile chloride. If R value is a methoxy, then its name is polymethoxyphosphazine. If R value is ethoxy, then name is polydihydroxyphosphazine. In this way, on the basis of R, then different names are given to the polyphosphazine. Next, the preparation of polyphosphate nitric chloride, and three preparation. First, then how we prepare the polyphosphonitrile chloride by the reaction between phosphorus pentachloride and ammonium chloride in presence of chlorobenzene, or by heating phosphorus pentachloride with ammonium chloride at 120 to 150. The former is the best for the preparation of the polyphosphonitrile chloride, and in this case, reaction involves are shown in the diagram. And in this reaction, then side products are also formed. They are known as cyclic trimer and cyclic tetramer. And tetrameric and trimeric and tetrameric compounds are easily separated by this method. These side products have different boiling point. Then you can separate this compound from this material by distillation method. Now next is the cyclic structure is like that: trimer and tetramer. The properties of polyphosphonitrile chloride, they have high elastic properties and can be extended many times reversibly, more time. So these polymers are called inorganic rubber because of having high elastic properties. When stored in absence of moisture, they don't lose elastic properties but become brittle when stored in moisture, because in moisture then there will be different compound like water, carbon dioxide, and they will react with the compound and make brittle. So the polyphosphoric nitric chloride should be stored in the absence of moisture, because when you store in moisture, then the polymer becomes brittle, easily broken, because the moisture can react with these polymer. The property of polyphosphonitrile chloride again, and freshly prepared polymers are soluble in chloroform, and they are not soluble in petroleum and ether. The solution on stranding, if you keep for a long time, then slowly change to gel, and gels mean thick liquid and costly. Then application of polyphosphonitrile chloride, they are used as high stress rubber, high elastic rubber, as a catalyst for the polymerization of polysilogenes from silanol. And polymetoxidide, polydimetoxyphosphazine and polydihydroxyphosphazine have same properties and same preparation method. So we study in combined form. Preparation of these two polyphosphazine, polydimetoxyphosphazine and polydihydroxyphosphazine, are prepared by treating polyphosphonitrile chloride with sodium methoxide and sodium ethoxide respectively. When we use sodium ethoxide, then we are able to get polydihydroxyphosphazine, and when sodium methoxide is used, then polydimetoxyphosphazine is formed. In this way, preparation method is same. For example, then this is the polyphosphonitrile chloride reacted with sodium methoxide, then form polydimetoxyphosphazine. When treated with the sodium ethoxide, that will give polydihydroxyphosphazine, and properties also same. So study combined form. They are transparent, colorless, and free thermoplastic. On heating above 100 degrees Celsius, they slowly changes to cyclic polymer. Then application of polydimetoxyphosphazine and polydihydroxyphosphazine, same properties, and they are applied as metal coating and insulation for wear. They form flexible plastic which have been used for fuel hoses. Fuel hoses mean flexible tube for flowing fuel. They are used in the manufacture of gasket. This type of polymers are water repellent. They are used to make waterproof thermoplast. And next is the sulfur-based polymer. Sulfur also undergo catenation properties, but less than that of carbon. And when sulfur atoms are combined with in long chain form, that will form polymer, and they are known as sulfur-based polymers. And there are different types of sulfur-based polymer, and important ones are as follow. Number one, linear chain polymer, that include polymeric sulfur and polymeric sulfur nitride. And next is the network polymer. Network polymer that is also in combined. its name its name is Chalcogenide glassite. That may be asked in short notes in many questions, many semester examination. And polymeric sulfur means simple form is PS. And how it is prepared? It is prepared by melting rhombic sulfur. Rhombic sulfur means ordinary variety of sulfur, and its formula is yes8. But in +2 level, we don't write down yes8. If we write down yes8, then it's very difficult to balance chemical reaction. So actually, the molecular formula of rhombic sulfur is yes8. That means 8 atoms of sulfur present in one molecular sulfur. And when you melt rhombic sulfur at 165 to 160 degrees Celsius, then molten mass form. That molten mass pour into ice water, and on this process, then polymer form is called polymeric sulfur. Then how the rhombic sulfur form polymeric sulfur? Then on heating, rhombic sulfur mean ordinary variety of sulfur. The structure of sulfur 8 opens up to form free radical, and this free radical again combined with the other rhombic sulfur to form long chain. And the chemical reaction involves by means of this chemical reaction. Then yes8 ordinary sulfur at its temperature then change to free radical. The free radical form again combined with the other rhombic sulfur and form the polymeric sulfur. And the product thus contain rhombic sulfur impurities. When it is present in this sulfur, then the sulfur holds change to rhombic sulfur. So the polymeric sulfur form should be washed with carbon disulfide to remove traces of sulfur. S8 means rhombic sulfur. The removal of S8 rhombic sulfur is necessary because the transition from polymeric sulfur to rhombic sulfur is accelerated by presence of S8. When S8 is present in the polymeric sulfur, that holds change into rhombic sulfur. So the rhombic sulfur present in the product should be removed by washing with carbon disulfide. The removal of S8 by washing with carbon disulfide, by washing the sulfur with carbon disulfide, by washing with carbon disulfide, slow down the transition and sulfur is added. And below the boiling point of sulfur, this polymeric sulfur is unstable and changes back to rhombic sulfur. So the polymeric sulfur is prepared and stored at a temperature higher than 114. Below this temperature, then the this polymeric sulfur changes back to rhombic sulfur. So prepared and stored at a temperature above 114. And use of polymeric sulfur is used in flame-proofing fabric, as plasticizer, as a catalyst in the manufacture of silicon. Now, next type of polymeric sulfur nitride is the next sulfur-based polymer, and polymeric sulfur nitride consists of nearly planar chain with sulfur nitrogen bonds of approximately bond length 1.16 angstrom, and bond length is 120 as shown in diagram. The linear chain, nearly planar chain, and sulfur nitrogen bond, and pasteurization means the type of substances which added to synthetic reagent to produce or promote plastic nature and reduce the brittleness of the materials. Means the materials which are added to give plastic nature for any compound is plasticized. And how we prepare polymeric sulfur nitride, and that involves 3 steps. The preparation of polymeric sulfur nitride involves 3 steps. First one is preparation of tetrasulfur tetranitride. It is prepared by passing ammonia into warm solution of disulfur dichloride in dry carbon tetrachloride, and in this case, then you get tetrasulfur tetranitride. Then after this process, then this tetrasulfur tetranitride foam is vaporized on the reduced pressure and passed through silver oil. In this process, then we get disulfur dinitride. Then in third process, Then when disulfur nitride is slowly polymerized, then that will produce sulfur, polymer sulfur nitride, and is also called polythiazide. The other name of polymer sulfur nitride is known as polythiazide. The usage of polymeric sulfur nitride for making digital circuit, digital computer, electric power transmission, transformer, storage devices like pen drive, hard drive, electric motor, etc. And next is the network polymer, and such type of polymer which has cross-linked arrangement and sulfur-based network polymer. Example are chalcogenide glass and cross-linked polymer formed by reacting polyvalent elements such as silicon, antimony, arsenic, bismuth, germanium, indium with chalcogen. The chalcogen means sulfur, selenium, and tellurium, and they are combined from chalcogen. And when we do that, the result binary products are formed, and that have great variety and complexity in nature. And this is known as chalcogenide glass or simply chalconide glasses. The example of network polymers are this one, this silicon sulfur, and the arsenic sulfur. And among them, the arsenic, the polymer sulfur containing arsenic is the best known chalcogenide containing two elements, sulfur and arsenic, the structure of which can be represented as follows. For example, then two element and cross-link structure are formed in this way. Then sulfur used as cross-link, and in this case, the polymer, the network sulfur polymer having silicon and sulfur. In this case, then arsenic and sulfur. And next is the properties of chalcogenide gases. They have higher, lower softening point and low tensile strength as compared to other inorganic polymer. Then I've given what is known as tensile strength, softening point given in the below of this slide, and stable to acid but attacked by concentrated alkali and can be distilled in vacuum without decomposition. And they are deeply colored, additive color. They change in conductivity reversible from low conductivity to high under applied. When you applied voltage, then conductivity will change, and this change is reversible. And its resistance is high until certain threshold voltage gradient is reached. When this voltage gradient is reached, then it abruptly changes to low resistance. An application of chalcogenide glasses in high energy particle detector, in ultrasonic delay line given the previous slide, and to make memory devices for computer, for infrared transmitting windows, because most of them are good infrared transmitting material, for fabrication of IR windows, for many army and civil optical devices. And you are given the different meaning of all the terms used in the application of network sulfur, softening point, ultrasonic delay line, and piezoelectric materials, energy particle deviator, all given. And next is the paint. Next chapter is paint, and paint is very interesting one that have been applied in our in your building outside and inside. And then how you define the paint is a mixture of pigment. Pigment means solid coloring matter and suitable liquid to form closely adherent coating when spread on surface in thin coat. In simple sense, paint is a mixture of pigment and vehicle. Vehicle is not like car and buses. Vehicle, in this case, vehicle means a liquid mixture of volatile and non-volatile solvent is vehicle. The mixture of pigment in the liquid that contain soluble, that contain volatile and non-volatile solvent. Then how paint is dried? Mechanism of drying of the paint. When paints are applied to surface of base material, the paint film dry up by the process of evaporation of thinner. Thinner means volatile oil, for example, turpentine oil, kerosene, And when you do painting process in your building, then painter will ask to bring thinner like turpentine oil, and followed by, and three type of process will occur on drying process. They are evaporation, oxidation, and polymerization of the drying oil. And requirement of good paint. What are the main requisites of good paint that may be asked many times in final examination? Paints are mainly used for protective, decorative, and functional purposes. In order to fulfill the purpose of paint, good paint should have following properties. It should have good adhesive property. हुनु पर्यो. And it should protect surface from corrosion or rusting. It should have good texture, good appearance. हेर्दा किन जाँदाखेरि ओहो कस्तो मलाई मन पर्यो. ग्लोसी, स्मुथ एन्ड साइन हुनुपर्छ. पेन किन्न जाँदाखेरि कालो कालो पेन त प्रायःले कम किन्छ है, होइन? के भनेदेखि एकदम गुड टेक्स्चर्ड एपियरेन्स हुनु पर्यो. एन्ड ग्लोसी means shiny, smooth हुनु पर्यो. Then when you see that pen, then you will be pleased about that. And next again, continued, it should form uniform, impermeable, and tough film. When applied onto surface area covering property, it should be fluid, liquid form, enough to spread over the surface and should have high surface area covering property. The film should not get cracked on drying. हाल्लै के भनेदेखि यो ड्राइङ गरेर क्र्याक पछि त्यो हाल्छ पेन्ट हालेर. The film should be highly stable at operating condition. के भनेदेखि पेन्ट हाल्दै क्र्याक भयो जुन त्यसको पनि काम लागेन. यस कारण चाहिँ that should be stable. त्यस कारण आजकल हाल्ने पेन्टहरू महँगा हुन्छन्, विभिन्न केमिकल हालेको हुन्छ. कुन केमिकल हाल्छ अब पछि आउने नेक्स्ट स्लाइडमा हामी पढ्नुपर्छ. धेरै केमिकलहरू धेरै चाहिने के भनेदेखि विभिन्न केमिकलहरू हालेर के भनेदेखि पेन्टलाई स्टेबल रूपमा गरिन्छ, एक्सपिरियन्स पनि राम्रो गरिन्छ. त्यस कारणले गर्दा आजकल पेन्ट पहिला हामी बच्चा हुँदाखेरि पेन्ट हाल्दाखेरि कस्तो चाहिँ सिम्पल रङ क्लियरलाई पानीमा घोलेर हाल्ने हो. यस कारण चाहिँ द्याट इज नट लास्ट फर लङ टाइम. तर आजकल हाल्ने पेन्ट महँगो छ एन्ड लास्ट फर लङ टाइम. विभिन्न कुराको पेन्ट पाइन्छ है. यस कारण यहाँ हेरौँ अब टाइप्स अफ पेन्ट हेरौँ. अब यहाँ टाइप मध्येमा then you know that varnishes and enamel, lacquer, immersion paint, special paint are not known by you, and on the basis of chemical composition and their effect on the surface of base material, the paints are mainly classified into 5 groups: varnishes, enamel, lacquers भन्ने पेन स्पेशल होला हैन, immersion paint, special paint पनि स्पेशल होला. They are very expensive than expected. One by one, then we study all these 5 types of paint one by one. Then varnishes, the homogeneous colloidal solution of fresh resin. What is colloidal? The example is milk, blood, muddy water. The components are seen but well mixed. दुधमा कम्पोनेन्टहरु के भन्दै देखिन्छ नि, के भन्छ यो व्हाइट हुन्छ, व्हाइट पार्टिकल सब थाहा हुन्छ हैन हो. तर के भन्दिन components are well mixed. Colloidal means solution in which materials is evenly suspended. In next lecture, then you will get more information about the colloidal solution and suspension. 3 types of materials are there: solution, colloids, and suspension. And used as protective and decorative coating of suitable surfaces, and dries by evaporation, oxidation, and polymerization of its constituent, and form hard, transparent, and glossy film. Then colloidal, then when light pass, then in solution the components are not visible, and size of solid particle in the solution is very small. It is less than 1 nanometer in diameter. In case of colloid, then visible components, visible. Right? For example, milk. And this particle size between 1 nanometer and 1000 nanometer in diameter. But in case of suspension, the component visible, for example, fluor and water, particle size greater than 1000 nanometer. In this way, colloid like blood colloid solution, muddy water colloid solution, and there are two types of varnishes: oil varnish and oleoresinous varnishes. Then different names are given, and homogeneous colloidal solution of resin in drying oil and volatile solvent. And this type of varnish dries up by evaporation of volatile solvent followed by oxidation and polymerization of drying oil. The presence of oil, किन चाहिँ oil भन्ने कुरा. The presence of oil reduces brittleness of resin and increase the elasticity of the varnish film. Resin means sticky, flammable organic substances insoluble in water. They are secreted by some trees and other plant. Plantबाट आएको च्यापच्याप लाग्ने substance like हामी resin भन्छौँ है. अब next is the second type of varnish, split varnish, a homogeneous colloidal solution made by dissolving resin in volatile solvent. Split varnish dries up rapidly by the process of evaporation. The film so formed is comparatively brittle and peel off more easily. यो फिल्मलाई खुर्केर निकाल्न सकिन्छ. त ड्राई हुन्छ चाँडै यो, किनभने evaporation भएपछि then the volatile solvent will vaporize. And the solution of shellac resin in alcohol is an example of split varnish. Shellac means natural thermoplastic, that is soft and flow under pressure. Under pressure मा flow हुन्छ, and when heated becomes rigid at room temperature. यो pressure मा हिट गर्दाखेरि flow हुन्छ, rigid at room temperature हुन्छ. यसकारण shellac भनेको material हो. And application of varnishes. Varnishes are mainly applied for protection and decorative purpose. Besides these, some of main uses of varnish are as follow: used to give brightening layer to a painted surface. Painted surface ma brightening layer ल्याउनलाई use, and used to improve appearance of wood surface. Wood surface को appearance लाई improve गर्नलाई then we can use split varnish, and to impart effective coating on metal surface from corrosion as it forms more uniform coating layer in metal. And again is types of paint continuous. Second is enamel. Then you know the enamel. What is enamel mean? Enamel is pigmented varnish, the dispersion mixture of pigment in varnish. It forms hard and glossy film on drying. There are two types of enamel. Baking enamel. It dries at high temperature, either in presence of oxygen or absence of oxygen. Air drying enamel can be used mainly in daily purpose. It dries up at room temperature by oxidation and permeation. यो baking enamel भनेको dry गर्न गाह्रो हुन्छ, at high temperature मा हुन्छ भनेदेखि यो dry enamel dries up at the room temperature by oxidation and polymerization. And named lacquer, not familiar with tube. This paint not familiar. And lacquer encourages dispersion of source of resin of cellulose derivatives such as cellulose nitrate or cellulose ester and plasticizer in volatile solvent. When these chemicals are mixed in volatile solvent, then that form lacquer. It mainly dries by evaporation and form hard, transparent, and waterproof film. Use of lacquer for giving finishing coat to automobile, for painting of furniture, coating cotton fabric, and preparing artificial leather. आजकल के देखिन the materials, it looks like leather, not leather, and it is prepared. And when you use this type of paint, then that looks like leather. And types of paint again continued. Immersion paint. Immersion paint भने पनि सुनेछ होला हैन. Immersion paint is dispersion mixture of rubber-like resin in water and film forming vehicle. Vehicle भनेको the mixture, liquid mixture of non-volatile and volatile solvent. In addition, it also contains some specific additive. त्यही कारणले immersion paint महँगो हुन्छ. Then certain substances are added to give different type of properties of paint, such as extender, stabilizer, pigment, dryer, anti-foaming agent, preservative, and these should be mixed in the immersion paint, and they are expensive in comparison to other ones. When immersion paint is applied on the surface, water evaporates and resinous particles unite to form uniform, homogeneous, and clear film. Immersion mostly refers to paint used for walls and ceiling. It is water-based with vinyl and acrylic added for durability. As use of immersion paint for coating porous surfaces because of low penetration porous surface मा coating गर्नलाई यहाँ wall pillar पनि तान्छ यहाँ ताल्ने काम हुन्छ. Easy to apply due to less odorless and non-inflammable. रङ्ग हाल्दाखेरि बास पनि कम आउँछ र they don't catch fire and can be recoated many times, which is not possible in ordinary paint. Ordinary paint लाई धेरै कोट गर्नुहुन्न, त्यसलाई धेरै कोट गर्नुहुन्छ है. And special paint. Now special paint, then you have seen the picture of a car. Then you just guess that the special paint is applicable in these materials. The paints made by adding special type of additive भनेको त्यस्तो substances that will make paint more attractive, as you have seen the painted car, which are able to give desired appearance to glass, wood, plastic, or metal surfaces. And बाइकमा रङ्ग गयो भने इनामेल हाल्नुहुन्छ, बाइकको सानो पाइपहरुमा इनामेल हाल्दाखेरि अर्कै देखिन्छ. यसकारण यस्तो पेन्ट स्पेशल पेन्ट हाल्नुपर्छ अनि के भने looking is good and attractive one. On the basis of special effect obtained in paint using specific type of additive, special paints are classified as follows. Type of special paint: fire retardant paint, temperature indicating paint, cement paint, cellulose paint, distempered, luminescent paint, water repelling paint, aluminum paint, anti-fouling paint, core tar paint. They are the types of special type of paint. Now one by one. Then first one is a fire retardant paint, and they have polyvinyl chloride or chlorinated rubber, etc. These compounds break up at high temperature, producing non-inflammable gases such as carbon dioxide, ammonia, HCl, and these gases help to retard probable firing by diluting the concentration of the inflammable burning gas like concentration like कम गर्ने कसले carbon dioxide ले ammonia. These will be formed by the paint at high temperature. They will reduce the fire. आगो बल्नलाई पनि यो fire हुनेले कम गर्छ. And temperature indicating paint, and that will indicate the paints which indicate which will change its color according to temperature. And this paint contains special additive that undergoes color change at specific temperature. Such additives usually are double salt, and additives used in this paint are double salt or amine salt of copper, iron, etc. These paints indicate temperature change of the environment at the range of 45 to 1450 degrees Celsius with 10% error. Exactly the one, तर के भने 10% error आउँछ राम्रै. हेरौ कलर चेन्ज यस्तो हो 100 डिग्रीमा कस्तो हुन्छ रंग त्यही कलर हैन 40 मा यसका हुन्छ नि कलर चेन्ज गर्छ आइको टेम्परेचर इन्भाइरोमेन्ट टेम्परेचर. And cement paint then from the diagram then you have knowledge about that in which part it is applied. Contains white cement 70%, calcium hydroxide, fine sand, pigment, solid coloring matter, plus water repelling compound. It is found in powder form. It is mixed with suitable solvent and makes slurry before use. Slurry बनाएर use गर्ने. It is applied to interior and exterior coating of brick wall. Brick wall हरमा हाल्न मिल्छ यसलाई है। यस कारण घरमा पनि यस्तो पेन्ट सिमेन्ट पेन्ट हालेको हुन्छ अनि सिमेन्ट पेन्ट हालेर अरू पेन्ट हाल्दाखेरि राम्रो देखिन्छ। ल अब के भने सेलुलोज पेन्ट, द पेन्ट मेड बाई dissolving nitrocellulose in thinner. It dries off by evaporation, leaving hard and glossy and durable film. कारहरुमा हालेको त मैले देखाएँ हैन। यस कारण चाहिँ that contain यो अलि महँगो हुन्छ nitrocellulose in thinner, dries off by evaporation, leaving hard, smooth and shiny and durable film it will provide. So mainly used as shown in figure. Now distempered भनेको त के भने तिमीले घरमा हालिन्छ यो कहाँ हालेछ के भने कहाँ हालिन्छ मैले देखाएको छु यही। These paints are water paint made by mixing chalk powder, glue and pigment in water. Distempered are generally used for finishing the painting on the surface of wall, plaster surface of the wall. आजकल हाल्दैन, आजकल के भन्छ के गर्छ यो प्लास्टर पेस्ट गर्छ धेरै मान्छेहरूले राम्रो छ भनेर है। यो गर्दाखेरि टाइममा गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ, प्लास्टर पेस्ट स्मुथ हुन्छ। यो अलिकति के भन्छ यसका चाहिँ यो प्लास्टर सर्फेसमा यो हालिन्छ, डिस्टेम्पर हालिन्छ। तर आजकल धनीहरूले चाहिँ यस्तो हाल्दैन, अर्कै तालको। अब luminescent paint, then its name give more information about the its name give more and more information about the paint. Contain pigment which fluoresces under the influence of ultraviolet light, and these pigments are called luminiform pigment, which include compounds such as zinc sulfide, calcium sulfide, which absorb ultraviolet light and emit visible radiation, so that they add special brightness to the paint. Brightness paint ma brightness why absorb UV light and emit visible radiation, and color modified called activators such as copper, silver, manganese may also be added in this paint that will give more brightness to paint. कस्तो ब्राइटनेस पछि हजारमा आउन डार्कमा ब्राइट हुने भने लाइटमै ब्राइट हुन्छ। And next is water repellent paint. Water repellent, when you painted the material, then the material will be not affected by water or moisture, and prepared by hydrolysis and condensation of the orthoethoxycycline and organochlorosilane. After application of this paint, it forms highly cross-linked film that is more water repellent, which make the paint to be more durable. यो वाटर रिपेलेन्ट पेन्ट हालेको यस्तो भयो, नहालेको यस्तो भयो। यस कारण नि यो हाल्दाखेरि जहाँ वाटर पर्छ त्यसलाई चाहिँ त्यहाँ हाल्दाखेरि it is not affected by water and moisture, so known as water repelling paint. And next is aluminum paint, पनि पाइपमा हालेको देखायो होला, shiny color, and prepared by mixing aluminum powder in speed varnish or oil varnish. It dries up by evaporation of thinner, followed by oxidation and formation of drying oil. It forms bright and uniform coating on the painted surface. Aluminum paint is mostly used to paint metal surface since it is less corrosive and bright in appearance. Metal surface मा हाल्दाखेरि ओसन खिया पनि लाग्दैन अनि appearance पनि shining हुन्छ, shining मन पर्छ। And anti-fouling paint, anti-fouling paint आफैले भन्छ यो कस्तो पेन्ट हो anti-fouling भनेको है। And contain anti-fouling agents such as mercuric oxide, copper oxide are used in sheep coating, which retard the bad smell of sheep due to marine worm and fungi. Fungi have deposited buried marine worm or मरेर के भन्छ यो sheep आउने हुन्छ। त्यो sheep यस्तो sheep मा यस्तो खालको पेन्ट हाल्दाखेरि that will retard the bad smelling of sheep due to marine worm and fungi. And coal tar paint त्यहाँ देखायो होला पिचबोर्डमा हाल्दैछ उसले हैन कोल टार पेन्ट। तर के भने नेपालमा कोल टार पेन्ट यो अर्को पेन्ट हाल्छ चाँदी पिन्छ कोल टार पेन्ट एकदम राम्रो। त साउथ कोरियामा धेरै चाहिँ युरोपियन देशमा चाहिँ यसो हालिन्छ, देन द्याट लास्ट फर लङ टाइम एन्ड पुरा ब्ल्याक देखिन्छ। द पेन्ट इज प्रिपेयर्ड बाई dissolving coal tar in spirit and other solvent. It always applied at hot condition, and it is found good for protecting iron underground. Underground मा हालेको आयरन पाइपलाई प्रोटेक्ट गर्नलाई यो हालिन्छ हैन। त्यहाँदेखि पाइप त हुन्छ, विभिन्न पाइपहरू चाहिँ राखेको हुन्छ अन्डरग्राउन्डमा। त्यस कारण यो पिचमा पनि हाल्न मिल्छ यसलाई, तर यहाँ हाल्ने अलिकति लो क्वालिटी हुन्छ। अब एप्लिकेसन अफ पेन्ट widely used to coat metallic surfaces in order to protect it from corrosive environment. Modern synthetic paints are used to make furniture more attractive in appearance. आजकल फर्निचर कस्तो कस्तो देखिन्छ त्यो सबैले पेन्टले गरेको। अनि के भनेदेखि यो बजारमा किनेको चाहिँ त्यस्तो फर्निचर राम्रो हुन्न, not last for long time, looking is good. And heat resistance paints are used as finishes of the oven, furnaces, aircraft combustion chambers, and cement paints are widely used for finishing buildings as they protect as well as decorate the building. And varnishes are used to give brightness to the paint and make uniform protect coating over the surface. Anti-fouling paints are used in marine sheet, which reduce the bad smelling in sheet due to marine worm and fungus attack. Some paints have special characteristics that they can indicate temperature change in environment by change of color. And consist of paint, and paint consists of one or more pigment in liquid containing volatile oil, film forming materials, and drying oil. In order to produce desired characteristic into the paint, specific type of additives are used on the basis of the effect produced by additive into paint. They are of following type: extender, त्यही कारणले आजको पेन्टहरु महँगो हुन्छन्, विभिन्न गर्ने एडिटिभ हालेको हुन्छन्, एक्सटेन्डर अर फिलर। नामै छ फिल, पालमा फिल गर्नलाई यो हालिन्छ है, यो हालेपछि पाल ताल्ने काम हुन्छ। द मटेरियल्स which serve to fill a gap in the film and hence to form uniform film of the paint, help in the advent of pigment particles, increase the durability of paint. The commonly used extenders are the barium sulfate, calcium sulfate, calcium chloride, and dryer पनि हाल्नुपर्छ पेन्टमा। Are the substances which accelerate drying of the paint film by oxidation, polymerization, and condensation. The most effective dryers are arsenate and tungsten of zinc and cobalt, etc. And thinners पनि हालेको हुन्छ। The substances added to reduce viscosity of paint to suitable consistency and help to drying of the paint. And commonly used thinners are the typewritten oil, benzene, kerosene, mineral spirit. This typewritten oils are mostly applied in daily purpose for painting. And plasticizer, the substances which increase elasticity of paint film, commonly used as plasticizer. Vegetable oil, triphenyl phosphate are the commonly used plasticizer. Stabilizers are the substances which provide chemical inertness to the immersion of the paint. Mostly used substances are protein like dextrin, casein, etc. and starch. For only one minute. Preservative, the substances which added to prevent decomposition of protein and growth of fungus. Commonly used preservative are the mercury chloride. यो पेन गर्दाखेरि किराकारा आउने काम कम हुन्छ आजकल है। यसका कारण पेन्टिङ गर्दाखेरि त्यो पेनको बासले गर्दा है anti-foaming paint again the materials added to check the formation of foam feed आउने काम, especially during manufacture of paint and application of paint. And these agents include the pine, oil, kerosene, etc. They are known as anti-foaming agents. Anti-skinning agent, the substance added to prevent gelling and skinning of the paint film. Gelling when it goes set, they become more solid. Most commonly used anti-skinning agents are polyhydroxyphenol, oxime, and quinone. Then gelling, what is called gelling, skinning, all information given in the lower part of this slide. Then you can study yourself. Skinning, the process in which paint or other film of coating in container from thin solid layer. Paint clear ल्याउँदाखेरि यो पेनको अप्पर लेयरमा लेयर हुन्छ त्यो लेयर यो के भने यो एन्ड हाल्दाखेरि लेयर फर्म हुन्न है। यस कारण पनि किनेर ल्याएर त्यसरी हाल्दाखेरि खोल्दाखेरि वान लेयर हुन्छ प्रायः जस्तो पेनमा। यस कारण यो एन्ड स्क्रिनिङ एजेन्ट नहालेपछि त्यो चाहिँ पेन फर्म हुन्छ। Gelling is caused by using containment tools and what solvent mixing the paint, which decreases viscosity of labor. यस कारण पनि containment tool ले हल्लाउँदाखेरि यसले के गर्छ viscosity पेन viscosity लेभललाई कम गर्ने काम गर्छ। यस कारण जेलिङ। Look, that's all for today. Then after 1 hour, then you can find the slide in file and you can download the slide from the file. Then after 1 hour, then I will upload the